They told you to exercise, but they never told you how. They said movement would ease the pain, but the moment you twisted just slightly the wrong way, a bolt of discomfort reminded you that your body doesn't play by the same rules it used to. You wake up, and there it is again. That dull, dragging ache in your lower back, as if your spine has given up its own rhythm and started fighting against you. Mornings used to be easy. Now there's something you brace yourself for, and every time you hear, just stretch it out or try yoga, a part of you wants to believe it. You want to believe that moving your body in the right way could actually make a difference. But you've also tried things before, routines, classes, exercises, and not all of them helped. Some made it worse. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to bring your back into harmony, how to gently reawaken the spine each morning, reduce tension, and protect yourself from those small movements that suddenly become big problems. This 10-minute morning flow isn't about pushing through pain. It's about returning to a calm, connected state, where you move not in fear, but in confidence. Your spine is not the enemy, it's the messenger. That ache you feel in the morning isn't just a sign of aging or poor posture. It's your body telling you it needs attention, not punishment, not toughness, but thoughtful, mindful movement. Most people misunderstand this. They believe back pain is something to fight against, to tough out. But pain is information, and yoga, when done with care, is the perfect way to listen. There's a core idea that many overlook. Your spine doesn't exist in isolation. It relies on everything around it: your hips, your hamstrings, your breath, your nervous system. If any of those are tight, stiff, or overworked, your lower back ends up carrying the burden, literally. Let's take a moment to understand the quiet chaos of the modern morning. You wake up after hours of stillness. Your muscles are tight, your joints are dry, your breathing is shallow. You roll out of bed and maybe you stretch, but not deliberately. You bend, twist, lift, often with the same patterns that have caused the pain to begin with. And this is where most efforts are wasted. When people think of yoga, they imagine complicated poses, dramatic stretches, or needing to be incredibly flexible. But the reality is much more gentle. The real benefit of yoga for back pain isn't in the stretching itself. It's in the awareness, the slowing down, the reconnecting with muscles you've forgotten to engage for years. That's what this 10-minute morning flow is designed to do. Not to test you, but to retrain your brain and your body. Each movement works like a gentle reminder to your spine. You are safe, you are supported, and you don't have to brace yourself anymore. And there's one other thing that doesn't get enough attention: your breath. It seems unrelated to your back, but it's deeply tied. Breathing deeply calms your nervous system, allows your muscles to soften, and reduces the unconscious tension you carry in your lower back. A shallow breath tenses everything. A deep breath opens the door to release. So in this flow, you'll be guided not just through physical movements, but through breathing, not just through yoga poses, but through trust. And here's the truth: your body wants to feel better. It doesn't want to stay in pain. When given the right signals, when supported rather than pushed, it begins to heal. As we move into the flow, think of each position as a conversation, not a command. You're not trying to force your body to do something new. You're reminding it of what it already knows: how to move with care. Let's now step into the lives of the people who need this most. The ones who feel forgotten by fitness culture. The ones who wake up not thinking about performance, but about survival. Picture yourself as the sun just begins to rise. The room is quiet. The day hasn't yet made its demands. You sit on the edge of the bed, and already there's that slight tug in your lower back. A discomfort so familiar it feels like an old companion. It doesn't scream. It doesn't shout. But it whispers in every movement. For many older adults, this is how the day begins. Not with a stretch and a smile, but with caution, with hesitation. You place one foot on the ground slowly, then the other, Careful not to twist. Careful not to lean too fast. You've learned the hard way that even the smallest movement can send pain shooting down your spine. Now imagine the construction worker in his 40s, waking up after another day of heavy lifting. He stretches instinctively, and there it is again, that soreness that creeps into his lower back like rust on a chain. He sighs, rolls his shoulders, and mentally prepares for another day of strain. Or the office worker, slouched in a chair for 10 hours a day, then falling asleep on a couch that offers no real support. The back pain doesn't come from a single event. It builds silently, over time, with poor posture and stiff hips, until one day a sneeze or a reach across the desk ignites something deeper. This morning flow is for all of them. For you. For anyone who's tired of flinching at the first step out of bed. It's not about becoming a yogi. It's about reclaiming mornings. It's about waking up and telling your body, you're going to feel better today. Let's go deeper into that first moment, when you're lying in bed and you roll to your side. This is where the first pose begins. You draw your knees gently toward your chest. No force. Just enough to feel the length in your spine. You hold that space, breathe into it. And slowly, the muscles that have been clenched all night begin to soften. From there, you transition into a seated pose on the floor, maybe on a cushion, maybe not. You begin with a cat-cow movement, arching and rounding your spine, awakening the vertebrae one by one. This isn't exercise, it's reintroduction. Your body saying, oh yes, this is how I'm meant to move. And then you reach, side to side, gently extending each side of your waist, giving space to your lower back to breathe. The poses are simple, accessible. A child's pose, a gentle twist, a supported forward fold. Nothing that asks too much, everything designed to give just enough. You notice something. You're no longer afraid of movement. You begin to trust it again. And that's the moment when things shift, from coping to healing, from reacting to rebuilding. The pain may not be gone, but it no longer owns you. You're no longer living defensively. You're moving with intention. And in this stillness, this morning ritual, something powerful happens. You realize you are not broken. You're just out of rhythm. And rhythm can return. Let's now talk about how that rhythm builds, how movement translates into relief, not just during the flow, but long after you roll up the mat. You finish the last gentle twist, rise from the floor, and pause. Not because you're winded, not because you pushed yourself too far, but because something feels different. For the first time in a long time, your back doesn't feel like a problem. It feels like part of you again. You stand upright, shoulders relaxed, core lightly engaged, breath steady. No sharpness, no tightness, just space. This is the moment most people never get to. They try so many things. Heating pads, over-the-counter meds, posture correctors, even expensive physical therapy, but none of it feels like progress, because none of it helps them rebuild trust with their own body. But here, in this slow and thoughtful yoga practice, your nervous system calms. Your muscles cooperate. Even your mind, often filled with anxious thoughts about whether a wrong move will set off pain, begins to quiet. Let me show you something important, something most people overlook. Your lower back doesn't operate independently. It responds to tension in your hips, tightness in your hamstrings, weakness in your core, and stiffness in your thoracic spine. A single morning of yoga won't fix all of that. But it gives your body the cue. Healing starts here, right now. This is not about flexibility. It's not about performance. It's about letting go of fear. Because fear of movement, of pain, of getting older, is what keeps your body locked in patterns that perpetuate discomfort. You are stronger than the pain, not by ignoring it, but by responding to it with wisdom. And the wisdom in this flow comes from the way it teaches your body, one breath at a time, to return to balance. With each pose, you're gently encouraging your spine to lengthen, your joints to open, and your muscles to re-engage in a natural, pain-free rhythm. You may notice your back doesn't pop like it used to. You may feel taller, more grounded. These are subtle signals that the flow is working, not in dramatic overnight transformations, but in small, steady improvements. I've seen patients in their 70s regain mobility. Office workers avoid surgery. Caregivers ease their sciatica without injections, all because they replaced fear with a morning rhythm, just 10 minutes of attention. And as you begin to trust the flow, your body begins to trust itself. So tomorrow morning, when you feel that familiar ache, don't reach for the pill bottle first. Don't brace yourself to push through the day. Come back to this flow. Lay down the mat, breathe, move, trust. You are not too old. You are not too far gone. Your spine is not broken. It's just waiting for you to listen. Let's close with something deeper, a message that stays with you long after the poses end. There's a truth that most people with back pain forget, or maybe were never told. Your body still wants to heal. It hasn't given up on you. It's not punishing you. It's simply asking for your attention in the only way it knows how. Through tension, through tightness, through pain. But now you know how to answer. This 10-minute morning yoga flow isn't a magic trick. It's not a quick fix. It's a dialogue, a daily conversation between your mind, your breath, and your spine. One that begins with compassion instead of criticism. One that replaces fear with gentle, measured effort. If you commit to it, not as a task, but as a gift, you'll notice something subtle shift in your life. You'll stop dreading the first steps out of bed. You'll stand a little taller while brushing your teeth. You'll reach for things on the top shelf without holding your breath. You'll start living without that constant undercurrent of discomfort pulling at you. And more importantly, you'll remember what it feels like to move without fear. Your spine isn't just a stack of bones and discs. It's the central path of your body, your structure, your strength, your support. And when you treat it with care, with consistency, and with calm intention, it responds in kind. So here's my advice to you. Don't wait for your back to hurt worse before you act. Don't wait for the next flare-up. Begin now, even if it's just with a breath. Even if you only do 3 of the poses. Even if you wobble or feel stiff. That's still progress. You don't have to be flexible. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up, on the mat, with your body, just as you are. Healing is not a destination, it's a rhythm, and it starts with you. Breathe, move, trust.